How you guys doing? It's Dave Hughes with MMA Weekly. Well, this weekend, Amanda Nunes won her title back from Juliana Pena. It was a 5-round war, but I mean, Amanda took all 5 rounds on my scorecards. Everyone else, I didn't give a 10-8 round. I gave all 10 9s, but you know. Derek Lewis loses to, I'm not even going to attempt the man's last name, but bullshit stoppage. Another bullshit referee stoppage. I mean, was Derek hurt? Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, he was just, you know, you got to give these heavyweights at least a fucking opportunity to show they're done before you call the fight. You know, Brandon Moreno beats Kai Kara France with a liver kick. Knocked him out with a liver kick. It was a pretty badass kick. So, Davis and Figueiredo and Moreno for the undisputed title whenever they decide to do that. But the main reason for this one today is in MMA, it's boxing. Now, the Jake Paul Hasim Rahman fight has been canceled. Why? Well, they say it's a weight thing, that he's not allowed to lose so much weight in a certain amount of time. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, being honest, they were never going to let this fight go on. Putting him in the ring with Hasim Rahman is absolutely insane. He would have fucking killed Jake Paul. This was a work from the beginning. When Tommy Fury can't get into the country, I do believe Jake was going to fight Tommy. I think that fight was going to go on. I mean, Jake does have some skills, but he is not at the skill level of a man that's been in there with 100 different guys. I don't think they were going to sanction it. And when it comes right down to it, they couldn't sell out the arena. There was still seats available a week away from the fight. Nobody cares about this fucking guy. They're only watching to see if he loses or not. The shame of it is Amanda Soriano, who is a real fighter and is a hell of a fighter, former champ. I think is she former? Does she still have her title? I think she lost her title, but she even said, well, you know, he's brave, he's you know, he's motivated, blah blah blah. When they asked if you can win, she never said, yeah, I think he can win. The shame is here, though, that the real fighters aren't getting exposure like they should in this fight. In the card. With the card being canceled, all the fights are canceled, not just the Jake Paul fight. The headliner's gone. There is no headline. I mean, there's 100,000 people that would love to get into the ring with Jake Paul. Love to. He could have named another fighter. He could have got another fighter if he really wanted to fight next weekend. But I don't think he wants to smoke. Not from a real fighter. I look for him to fight either another over-the-hill guy, a guy that's chinny, or, I don't know, another MMA guy, maybe Nate Diaz. But this kid is going to chug along fighting has-beens and never was, and until he either stops doing the sport or he gets caught by one of these guys he picks and they put him to sleep, and that'll be the end of his career. Once the undefeated thing's over, Jake Paul will lose interest and move on to something else. MMA he might try. I think he's been training wrestling. His brother's in the best thing he could be in for a Paul. I mean, both of them just need to say fuck it and go be the the Usos or something, you know. The WWE, that's the place for guys like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and things like that. Now, my thing is, if this is a weight thing, all right, if that's what this is about, he can't weigh a certain amount, or he can't weigh a certain amount over, or whatever. Do they forget what they did before this? The Mayweather fucking Logan Paul. Logan Paul was every bit of 220 pounds, and Mayweather's never hit $175 in his life. So why was that okay, but Sim being a few pounds over or whatever? No, never in the history of boxing has a fight been canceled because of weight. You get fined so much money off of your purse. Now, MMA, they do give you the choice to cancel if the guy doesn't make weight. You don't have to fight them. But boxing, they do not cancel fights because of weight. You give up whatever, so many dollars from your purse for every pound over. From what I understand, Hassim wasn't even getting pay-per-view points. He was getting a set bag, and that was it. A set rate. That's how he was doing it. Because Jake Paul came out and said about his back being broken from carrying all these carrying the pay-per-views. Well, Hassim said, why the fuck should I sell anything? You sell it. I don't get paid for how many. I don't get. If one person watches the fight, or 100 million, he gets paid the same. So why the fuck would he sell the fight? I mean, exposure. Maybe it would have helped him with exposure. I mean, he got knocked the fuck out by Kenzie Morrison. But again, Kenzie Morrison's the real deal. Jake Paul, he's a good boxer. He'd be a hell of an amateur boxer. I think he could hold many amateur titles. But as far as the WBC that go, Jake Paul never hold an actual title. He's a cruiserweight. So I'm trying to think of who the champ is. I can't think off the top of my head in the champion in the cruiserweight division. But it was a work, guys. Anyone that would buy a Jake Paul pay-per-view from this point on is a fucking idiot in my eyes. Steal it, stream it, whatever you gotta do. Don't pay for that shit. It's trash. They're works. Tyron Woodley, it was a work. That's all. It was a work. It was fake. It was a fake fucking fight. Fake news, fake fight, bullshit. Tyron needed money. Because Tyron burns through money really fast. He's made a good bit of money in his career. He made, I think, $2 million off the Paul fight, but I do believe that there was a side thing going where he absolutely took a pay to take a fall. There's rumors out there that the reason this fight was canceled is because Hassim would not take any amount of money to take a fall. And the rumor is he was offering $2 million for him to take a fall. So money don't buy everyone, Jake. Just saying. You want to go out there and pay someone like me to take a fall? I'll trip over my own shoes, Jerry Lewis style, and just act like, it don't matter to me. But a guy like Hassim, he's got legacy behind him. I know you don't understand that because your dad's a fucking middle American nobody white guy who had 2 fucking goofy ass kids that half the United States can't fucking stand. Your dad should be real proud of himself. He raised 2 dickheads. But yeah, when there's legacy involved and stuff, you can't exactly pay somebody's legacy off. You know, Hassim takes a fall to Jake Paul, and he'll never, ever get another fight that's worth a shit. Ever. Now, like Jake said himself, his Instagram, or whatever, Twitter account went from, it's doubled since this fight's been announced. Well, Jake Paul's a social media personality. That's why, you know, Hassim is in the gym working out, being a real boxer. So now, with this exposure, the fight didn't go on, but Hassim is going to end up getting good fights now. And that's just the way that game works. It's a fucking shitty, stinky-ass game that has been destroyed by guys like Don King and shit like that. The fighters get fucked and the promoters make money. Jake did find a way to get around that. I do agree with a few things that Jake does, paying fighters what they're worth, things of this nature. These are good things. The promoters shouldn't make all the money. But Jake, you're a promoter. That's what you do. You're making all the money. I mean, you're doing the same thing Dana does, only you fight. And Dana doesn't. Or never did. So, that said, I just wanted to give you guys filled in on what my opinion on it was. You guys want to watch Jake Paul fights? Go ahead, have at it. They're fake. I mean, I watch wrestling every once in a while. I'll tune into on YouTube on 2 days a week. I tune in and I watch the good ones that were going on on Raw and SmackDown. I think I'm done for a while because, again, I don't like Roman Reigns. I don't like the whole idea of it. I think it's retarded. It's the dumbest. That's why their ratings are so low. They need to... Brock should have won the title, or Drew McIntyre should have been the Money in the Bank, came in and cashed it in. At least Drew McIntyre, like he says, they hold the belts hostage and they only wrestle 4 times, 5 times a year. They come out and talk more than they do anything else. I just watched a fucking old-ass man put on a pretty good show. I mean, it was definitely nothing to write home about, but Ric Flair's last match this weekend was, you know, these guys, if Rick can get in there and still do it a little bit, some of these guys should be able to. So, I don't know. It is what it is. WWE, it's until they sell or something goes on, we're going to have to watch, you know, if you want to watch wrestling, you got crap. Because AEW was doing really well, but they're kind of the old school goofy wrestling, like Jungle Boy and things like that. These aren't fucking things I think are cool. But until next time, God bless.